Hey guys, it's Shadow, and today we are going to be playing The Sims 4 again. Now this time we are going to be making another house, and then this one is going to be Log Cabin Lane, as I'm going to call it. Now this is first part of, I'm assuming maybe like 3 parts, 2 or 3 parts. Sorry about that, I'm a little choked up. But I don't know, like what I want to do is make this almost like a community lot, even though it's not really going to be a community lot. So like there's going to be maybe like 3 cabins. So the first one's going to be one house, second one's another house, and then the third one's another house. And then maybe there'll be something else on the lot, like a garden or something, whatever I can fit in. So I'm planning on making this a multiple part series. So I started out by making this as log cabin looking as you can make it in the game. Now, there's not much you can do in the game, like extrusion-wise, or whatever you want to call it. So what I did is, I just kind of made everything as, like, wood-looking as I could. And then I went back and kind of added, like, little supports underneath the roof to make it look kind of like wood sticking out, even though it really wasn't. But anyway, it looks good the way it is, so I'm going to kind of leave it the way it is. So, now I really like how it turned out. Whenever you look at it from a distance, it doesn't look that great, honestly, but whenever you get up close to it, you're like, wow, I actually kind of appreciate the detail that was put into this, if anybody gets what I mean. So that's the thing that I really like about it. Now, I was trying to make all the wood kind of match up in color on this house. That way everything looks like it was made out of the same wood, the same trees, whatever you want to call it. Now, there wasn't very many pillars that really supported what I wanted to do. So I grabbed one from the, oh my gosh, what DLC is it that adds all the like camping stuff? I added the pillars from that because they look like actual pieces of log. So that's what I wanted. That's the look I was going for. Now, I was kind of going off a Google image for this, so some of it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted. In the Google image, the actual, like on the upper roof, the piece, like the wall piece, actually sunk back in a little bit, and there was a porch on the upper deck, but this building isn't really big enough for that kind of thing, and especially in The Sims 4, where things are really constricted anyway, so I wasn't going to mess around with it too much. Now, I did use a little bit of cheating in this game just so I could move objects to where it looked more natural. Like there was a window piece right here that fits in perfectly if you use cheats on it. But if you don't use cheats on it, it will not allow you to place it. So that's why I kind of did that. Now, here is where I started working on adding these little supports that I was talking about. So I added them kind of individually like this, and then added the bigger, fatter ones on the outside of it, so it looked kind of more like the outside ones were holding up more than the inside ones were, like the inside ones were just decoration or something. And that's pretty much what I was going for. Now, I did have to fill in the little roofing areas so I could actually have a floor. Now, I know it doesn't matter what the floor looks like on the top side if you can't physically see it. But the thing that I was worried about is that you could see up into the roof if you're looking from the bottom up. So that's not what I wanted, so I ended up fixing that. And just kind of got it all working. So I'm glad I did that. It was just kind of one of those little touches that needed to be done. Otherwise, it would have looked kind of awkward if you looked up and you're like, oh, hey, I can see the bottom of your roof. And that's not a good thing. So, yeah. And I tried to make everything, like I said, I tried to make everything look as woodish as I could. Some things weren't really possible, so I just kind of went with it. The windows on the actual log cabin that I saw in the picture, I think they were all brown, but the ones that I have in game, I can't make all brown. Actually, no, I take that back. I can make them all brown, but it's not the right shade of brown. It's just not, it doesn't feel right. So yeah, I just kind of did what I could. And it still turned out good. So I'm not really complaining about it. Now, I did add these little supports to the, gosh, why can't I think of the name of these? The little poles. Mainly because it looked like it added more support to the roof if I did this. So I just kind of did it. So Yeah, I don't know. I kind of wish we could color the top of the roof, not the top of the roof, but like the bottom of it, the underside of it. I remember um, there was a not yeah DLC, I guess, a parts pack. No, it's not a parts pack. It was a expansion on Sims 3 that kind of added the ability to look up and actually design the top of the roof. I believe it was whichever one allowed you to make apartments. Now that was kind of cool. I hope they do something like that for The Sims 4 because honestly we would love that. This whole city life DLC that they're coming out with, the expansion, it looks cool, but it doesn't look like what I'm thinking of. Like I'm thinking of like actual apartments, like you can build from the ground up, like what I'm doing here, and literally assign rooms to like what room it's going to be, and what like rooms you have inside of that room. I don't know. It's a cool little design. And I really wish they'd do something like that in The Sims 4. Cities Life looks good, but it doesn't allow the expandability that Sims 3 had, because you're kind of, from what it looks like so far, you're kind of preset to use whatever building they justify that you're going to use. So I don't know. It should be cool though. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. So now, I do know the living room is very cramped, and this is a very little house, mind you, that all of it is just on one floor. So the reason that it's really cramped in here is because of how small it is. It's actually really hard. It looks like it would be hard to walk through the living room to get to the bedroom. But it is kind of one of those things you have to deal with, because it's a small house, and he chose to buy it. So, yeah. Now, I just kind of added furniture here and there. It almost has this feel as if this family that's living in here, or whoever's living in it, it makes it feel like they've been going to like swap meets and like garage sales and picking up furniture that looks very rustic and antique. Some of it doesn't match up together, but that's just kind of adding to the overall feel of it. So that's really cool. Now, I was kind of scarce on table decorations, so I just kind of threw together whatever I could. Wow, that trailer is very noisy. I live on a very busy road. How long is that trailer? Ridiculously long, really. But I don't know. I live on a like country road. It's technically a country road, but it's really like right next to a county road. So I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, we have a lot of trailers and stuff that go through, and then on the next street over, they don't ever get that. So it's kind of stupid to me, but whatever. We live here, we have to deal with it. So I actually did something on the kitchen here that I don't think I've done like ever in The Sims 4, because I've never, like, I always use cabinets as much as I can. So I ended up adding cabinets where I could in here because of the placement of the window and whatnot. But I actually did something different that I don't normally do, and I'm actually kind of cool, like proud of myself that I did it. But I removed the cabinet there, and actually used one of these full wall cabinets. And now I've never done one of these because normally they don't fit into the build that I'm doing. But this one, it fit perfectly. It looks amazing. So you've kind of got this china cabinet built into your cabinets, like your main cabinets, and you don't have to have a separate object in the kitchen. It's kind of just there. And they didn't need that much counter space anyway, so that's kind of why I did that. Now, I did use some of these picture lights underneath the cabinet to kind of give it that little bit of a glow feel to the cabinets, kind of that natural feel. Now, I realized something once I was completely done with the kitchen, or not completely done, but I realized that I hadn't placed a table, or I hadn't had a area for a like little proper dining room. So I ended up placing it on the front porch. Now it kind of gives that feel like if you go out there and eat, it gives you that feel of being in nature. And I'm sorry I did not silence my phone. That was annoying. But yeah, it just gives you that feel of eating in nature, and that's one cool thing that I really like. I was just checking that text real quick because I needed to. Now, I don't even know why I added that garden hose there, really. But I just like the idea of, like, I feel like if I had a house for my own, it would be cool to have to go outside and eat and have to literally look at nature while you're out there eating. And you can't really avoid it because you're on the porch. So it's just, I don't know. I think it would be kind of a cool feel to it. So, like, if you guys ever make a house like that, you can change whatever you want. I might even change that in the other log cabins in this area. Because, as I said, I am planning on making more log cabins in this area in part 2 and 3, or part 2. However many I do. I really don't know how many I'll do, but anyway. Now I just kind of was throwing in some decorations for the kitchen. I didn't know what to place, really. I just kind of placed whatever I could. So, oddly enough, I was looking for one of those pictures that I pulled out just a second ago, and I couldn't find it later in this build, so that was strange. Now, here I start working on the bathroom. I was just kind of getting some proper light in real quick that looked kind of what it normally would. So, kind of added that light that gives it kind of that yellowish, warm glow feel to it, and I kind of like how that looks, so yeah. Now, I had to orient the restroom to where we could actually have a sink in it as well, because I thought that would feel better having a sink in there and not having to go back around to the kitchen to wash your hands. So, and by the way, I did test every object in the house right before I made this video, or not before I made the video, but right after I was done with the video. All the objects in there work. Even though I moved the couch in the living room, he can still walk past it, so that is a good thing. Now, one thing that I did come into a problem with is I ended up not being able to place down the curtains in the bathroom because of the doorway. Now, I could have easily added the move objects cheat and just put it there on the wall. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but either way, I think it might cause a collision, so it is kind of a good thing that I didn't do it. Now, one of the best looking rooms, in my opinion, is actually the bedroom. Normally my bedrooms don't look that great, but I spent a lot of time on trying to decorate the bedroom just to make it look, or just to give it that little pop that it normally doesn't have, and I'm actually pretty dang proud of it. Now, I did use this little poster. If you go to the kitchen section and then go to the miscellaneous wall decorations, I used that poster, and it looks pretty darn good to me, to be honest. So, just a suggestion from me is, like, if you ever want a poster in the room, use that one. It looks pretty modern. It kind of feels right, you know? So, I wanted to place a TV on the wall, but I didn't want to... No, I actually wanted to place one on the cabinet, but I could not get one to go on this cabinet. I don't know if it was because I moved the cabinet a little bit or what, but it works the way it is, and it still looks pretty darn good. So I also cheated that plant into the side of the room because it looked like it belonged there. So now I used the most expensive side tables or end tables that I could get because they matched up with that whole, like, kind of oldies classic feel to everything as well. So that's why I did that. And obviously you could change that depending on how much money you have for the house. Any object in the house can be changed to however you need to. Like, you don't even have to have the TVs. You can use a cheaper TV or not have them at all. That is totally up to you on how you feel about the TVs. So, I'm going to keep talking through the pictures just so I can kind of give a feel for what's going on in the picture. So, I did have a couple pictures of the outside of the house. I actually didn't mean to put all of them into the video, but they did all pretty much end up in here anyway, so I'm not that worried about it. Now, this one obviously is meant for the thumbnail. Now here you can see the porch in full detail. Actually, during the day, it looks pretty darn good. The kitchen looks amazing. I like that china cabinet, just perfect. I actually kind of, I don't know, I don't really like that view, but it's whatever. Now the living room does kind of look cool. I like the whole rustic feel of it. The bedroom, again, I love that poster placement. It looks amazing. And here you can see from the bed where the TV would be on the wall. It's pretty high, actually. Now the bathroom is very enclosed, very small, honestly, and then the outside of the house. So yay! So I hope I see you guys in the next video. Bye.